Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jesse with the Common Nerd, and I don't think there's any way to deny the fact that 2024 has been a very bad year for a lot of AAA game studios out there. We can talk about all of the abysmal flops from all of course, the Horizon out there to a lot of those Star Wars Outlaws, whether it be Assassin's Creed Shadows, which technically will end up flopping this year, but it was actually supposed to flop this year. Or, of course, the giant, biggest turd of all time out there, Concord. I mean, it was just a bad year for a lot of these AAA studios out there, and many people ask themselves, why? Well, I think a lot of the gaming industry and a lot of the gamers out there, the fans of video games and that kind of stuff, have kind of woken up to the nonsense. They understand that diversity, inclusion, and equity garbage out there is only taking their video games and turning them to one place, dying completely and totally horrible. And well, why? Because these people are absolutely insane, right? Star Wars Outlaws wasn't just the fact that it was a kind of uglification of the character and stuff like that. It's because they concentrated so much on diversity, inclusion, and equity that it ended up being a broken and buggy mess. Beside the fact that you gave us a Han Solo story without Han Solo in it. So it was literally kind of something that was going to end up being DOA from the very beginning. But once anybody that was even like a hardcore Star Wars fan, somebody that wasn't very aware of all the diversity, inclusion, and equity nonsense that was involved in all of this, well, as soon as the game come out, as soon as IGN gave us those first previews showing it, that was a broken and buggy mess. And then, of course, after the millions of other videos came out, we saw what has happened with this. Well, boys and girls, it looks like it's no different over there at the Activision Blizzard. Yes, the people responsible for Call of Duty, because some of their employees over there are literally calling for death on over half of the United States of America's population. And of course, from their own internal Slack messages, we find out that Activision Blizzard is completely and totally going to double down and just rename all of their diversity, inclusion, and equity nonsense. And well, color us shocked there, boys and girls. Evil, a lot of the time when you defeat it, literally goes back underground and just transforms and comes in a new version out there. And that's exactly what we've got right here. And now they are getting major backlash. There are huge people among the independent game journalist studios out there that are calling for a full and complete boycott of Call of Duty, ladies and gentlemen. And when their numbers are already severely failing and falling down, this is the last thing over there that anybody Activision Blizzard needs, because it's only going to drive your company further into the ground. And guess what? Microsoft ain't got no problem closing your studios if you don't produce. And guess what? This is not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to share this article from thatparkplace.com, getting all the juicy details of exactly what's going on over there, the Call of Duty company. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do this without every single one of you. We just crossed 800. We're on our way to 900, and hopefully you'll hit that subscribe button and help us get even closer there. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description down below. But let us know what you think about this in the comments section, right? I want to know, are you a Call of Duty player out there? Is this a franchise that you've loved for decades and for all the time that they've come out? Are you one of those people where it's been kind of hit or miss with this kind of thing? Does this surprise you, though, in the modern era that employees of Activision Blizzard, employees of the same company that controls Call of Duty, are coming out there and saying these kind of things? This is going to turn you off for Call of Duty and everything that Activision Blizzard does going forward. Let us know anything about that in the comment section down below. All right, from thatparkplace.com and our dear sweet Montanero. Blizzard's technical artists call for the political violence against Trump supporters before disabling online presence. Oh, color us shocked there as soon as the cowards get called out for it, because guess what? The world isn't the echo chamber you thought it was. You run and hide. The fallout from Activision's Blizzard's unwavering commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives took a dark turn this week when a Blizzard technical artist, Kyle Hickey, made an incendiary post on Facebook, then appeared to call on his social media followers to commit violence against supporters of President Donald J. Trump. And as you can see, pretty obvious, exactly the same, kill your local MAGA. And look at this. Obviously, this thing probably got even more support before they deleted it, but look at all this. This is obviously on Facebook, too, because color us shocked there. You got your hearts, you got your likes, and you got your loves, like 11 people, and you can see the list right here. And I'm sure these are people that probably work at Activision Blizzard, boys and girls. This is absolutely insane. You're literally wishing death on over half of the voting population of this country. Boy, I wonder why your games aren't selling. It's like Michael Jordan used to say, Republicans buy shoes too. On January 21st, just one day after the inauguration of President Donald J. Trump, Hickey wrote, "Kill your local MAGA." That was the entire post. It contained no qualifiers, emojis, or humor that might suggest it was a joke or a satirical statement. That stark and alarming message was liked by several of Hickey's followers, including Max Davenport, the associate art director at Gearbox Software. Yeah, the cult's completely and totally infected all of the AAA and the gaming out there. The post came to public attention after being shared by Grum's Mark Kern, former World of Warcraft team lead and outspoken critic of diversity, inclusion, and equity in the gaming industry. Obviously, this is the guy that was literally used to work for Blizzard in the World of Warcraft stuff, so yeah, he knows these folks. Known by his Antler moniker Grums, Mark Kearns posted the screenshot of Hickey's statement on X the same day he had criticized Activision Blizzard, President Rob Kostich for doubling down on the DEI initiative in a company-wide Slack message. Kostich's message, as reported yesterday, reaffirmed Activision's Blizzard commitment to DEI, stating, and this is the Activision Blizzard employee, right? President Trump just came out there and said they wanted all the DEI stuff out of this. You're not going to get any more government grants. You're not going to get any more government money. If you do this kind of stuff, it's just not going to end up going very well. And honestly, we know it's actually racist and quite illegal to hire people based on their gender or color. I know! Strange concept! To be clear, this work continues to be extremely important in everything that we do. It's important to our games, our culture, and who we are as a company. Our inclusive growth team has made great strides in helping us weave inclusivity into all aspects of our business. Too bad they haven't been able to wrap any kind of success in your business in any way, shape, or form. Our strategy has remained focused on enhancing the experience of all employees. Too bad not your player base or your customers, huh? Providing exceptional experience to players globally. Oh, really? How's that working out for you? How them Call of Duty numbers working out for you over there? And providing accessible opportunities to those interacting with our company and brand. I look forward to all the great work we'll continue to do together. Like I said, basically ignoring what almost the entire rest of the world out there, almost the entire rest of the media landscape is doing. And even if they're not internally actually changing anything, guess what? The words coming out of their mouth are very different. Fortunately enough, there's a lot of wonderful people still working over there at Activision Blizzard that can leak all of these wonderful messages to us, confirming what we all know. Their leadership is completely and totally poisoned by this cancerous infection of the diversity, inclusion, and equity cult. The woke mob, whatever you want to call it, this is the exact same kind of nonsense. It's just nothing more than the work of the devil. Boys and girls, it is a cult, and it is completely and totally infected every version of Activision Blizzard, including Call of Duty. Grums did not mince words in connecting Hickey's post to Activision Blizzard's corporate environment. This is the type of atmosphere that Activision President Rob Kostich is fostering as he doubles down on woke DEI and ESG today. HR turns a blind eye to open calls for violence and death at these studios. They've gotten away with it for years as they mistakenly thought that they were protected and on the right side of history. Well, boy, it turns out that that echo chamber you lived in, turns out, yeah, you were actually the ones living in the echo chamber. And of course, the election last year proved that beyond a shadow of a doubt. Following the backlash, Hickey appears to have deactivated all his social media accounts, including his Facebook and LinkedIn pages. It's so weird. When you shine sunlight on these rats and cockroaches, they scatter just like the vermin they are. I know, strange concept. Call these people out. Make your voices heard. And he's taken his personal art website offline as well. Oh, talk about getting caught. Neither Hickey nor Activision Blizzard have released a statement on the matter, and they're not going to. All their lawyers, all their PR people who are just as woke as them are just going to tell them to shut up and not say a thing about this and hope it goes away. Well, guess what? The internet remembers, and the fans and the gamers out there are not going to forget this. In response to Hickey's post about what he describes as a toxic program at Activision Blizzard, Kern has also called for a boycott of Call of Duty until the company takes decisive action. It's time to boycott Call of Duty until they remove the DEI from Activision and their president repeals the toxic program. You can't have employees wishing death to MAGA and a president doubling down on DEI. Americans deserve better games and game companies. And amen and hallelujah, Brother Grums, to that one, because he is absolutely right. And guess what? The majority of the gamers out there have already made their opinion heard. Dragon Age Veilguard flopped. Star Wars Outlaws flopped. Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League flopped. I mean, we can do this list all day long, boys and girls, for things that have failed just over the last year, not to mention the last couple of years. We could go back to Of course, one of the other ones out there, the Saints Row reboot, who of course was nothing more than all DEI and the marketing and all of this activist nonsense. And guess what? Just like Star Wars Outlaws, when the game came out, it was a broken and buggy mess. Because whether or not you agree with diversity, inclusion, and equity, when these people only concentrate on an ideology and painting by the numbers, that is not how you make good art. And video games are absolutely an art form. And guess what? When you limit people to only being able to do certain things and only go in a certain way, you don't exactly have very much creative ability, and fans recognize this. Current statement has already gained traction among gamers frustrated with Activision Blizzard's policies and perceived political bias. This latest Blizzard artist controversy highlights growing concerns over the intersection of politics, corporate culture, and the gaming industry's direction under DEI-focused initiatives. Hickey's post is not the first one. Time political tensions have stirred. We've seen all of this kind of stuff in the past and all of that kind of other stuff. The timing of this controversy could not have been worse for Activision Blizzard, with President Trump's administration signing an end to DEI-related initiatives within federal agencies. An announcement that directly affects Activision Blizzard's Call of Duty endowment program with the Department of Defense. Oh, that's right. They're getting federal contracts as well. So, hey, you'll have to comply now, won't you? The company now faces scrutiny from both the government and its audience, which is going to include them losing money. Having these statements get out there, having these statements get reported to people out there, having them leak on, having the truth be shined down upon these people and the actual exact kind of psychopath and insane folks they are, well, guess what? It's going to cost them money. We already know that Call of Duty has seen some of the lowest numbers that it has seen since Black Ops 6 released. And more statements like this from people inside of Activision Blizzard is just going to continue ostracizing more and more people. And I mean, honestly, let's think about the actual general audience for a Call of Duty game out there, right? They're going to be very similar to the people that would actually join the military and go out and do these things, right? They're going to be generally leaning a little more conservative, a little bit more southern, a little bit more rural, the kind of people that like to go out there and just blow things up. Plus, you've got a bunch of teenagers who just love doing this kind of stuff as well. And you're not going to have a bunch of people that enjoy literally virtually going out there and murdering their friends to go out there and go, yeah, we want to be woke, we want diversity and inclusion. Don't you want all these crazy people with all these crazy hair colors as characters and skins in your game? Don't you want like a little fat chick from Concord and like all of that kind of stuff is your tank? No. Fans don't want it. And if Activision Blizzard continues to go down their way and does not make massive changes inside this company, we have seen what's happened to several studios over the last few years. And guess what? Microsoft has no problem closing your ass down if you aren't making them any money. And guess what? Diversity, inclusion, and equity doesn't make you any money. All it does is cause your games, your studios, and your future employment to die.